I'm Libby Lehman, your guest host for Name That Stitch. Have you guessed which stitch this is? I hope you're all cuddled up because this is known as the blanket stitch. Some people call it a buttonhole stitch, but I think a blanket stitch sounds cozier. If you've ever been to one of our Ricky Tim's super seminars, you will know this is Ricky's favorite stitch for applique. Again, this is actually two stitches that are very closely related. If you'll come down and look, the first one is actually the double blanket stitch. So it's doing twice the stitches. And this is a single blanket stitch. So it's going up, make a stitch, over, back, up, over, back. Whereas this one goes up, back, up, and then left, right, and then we'll go up, back, up, back. Now this serves many uses. It was designed to go around the edge of a blanket, but I want to show you what we use it for in quilting, and especially what Ricky does. It's pretty cool. The first thing I want to show you at the machine is the way that Ricky uses the double blanket stitch. He likes to use a width of 2 and a length of 2. That makes it pretty easy to remember. This is going to be just a small blanket stitch. He doesn't like it to be very far into the applique because so many of his appliques are very intricate, and this does make it easier to get around curves. I like to move my needle position, and on this machine I can move my needle position in almost every stitch. I'm going to move it over to the far right so that I can have the edge of my applique right against the right edge of my foot. You can secure it if you want. I'm not taking the time in these short videos to do that, but it's going to take a stitch, and then it's going to go, you'll see, watch, back, forwards, over, back, forward, back. See how it's doing that? And over. And this gives you little bites into the applique, but it does make it easy to get around curves. Now you'll notice I'm not getting around curves here, but you'll get the idea. So I'm going to go all the way down to the end. I'm only going to do one corner on this. These are squares of fabric that are actually fused with a fusible web, and you can use whichever fusible web you choose that you like the best. There's definite camps on what fusible to use, and I don't want to get in the middle of that argument. Can you see it's going left, right, and it's going back, forward, back. And now I want to turn and pivot, and I can raise the needle up, and then it's going to go over to the side. And Ricky, I failed that corner. I lifted it too far. But if you know where it's going, we'll go down to the next one. I'll give myself a second chance here. And I think Ricky can sew at this speed even around curves. But as I get here, and I can slow my machine down. I have a speed control on here. Back, forward, left, right, back, forward, back. And now, this is what Ricky taught me. See, I am paying attention now. My next swing is going to be to the left, so I should be in exactly the right place for it to go. I'm going to go past this a little bit, and then I'll show you the good and the bad. Let me cut that thread now. Here's the corner that I did not listening to Ricky. And can you see that little point? You don't really want that. But if you'll pay attention to Ricky on his videos and the quilt show, you get this nice corner right here. Now let's go to the board and I will show you some others. Now I showed you how Ricky does this using a width of 2 and a length of 2. And that gives you a real nice look. But sometimes I like to show this stitch off. So I am going to start by doing one at a width of 4.5, and then I'm going to do one at 9, and I will do this at the machine in a minute, but I want to show you what this looks like. Can you see here I have done, with the yellow thread, I used a stitch length of 4 and a stitch width of 4, or 4.5 if you like, and I did the double blanket stitch. Then I put red thread in, and I came back and I sewed right along the edge using a 9 width, and just made sure that my first stitch hit in between the yellow stitches. And I think this gives a really cool look. I played with it further down here. I think this could be great decorative surface embellishment on your quilts. This is a stitch I haven't talked about yet, but it's in that same family. It's a ladder stitch, although it's just classified as a blanket stitch. So it has stitches on either side of a central post. I stitched that first. Then I went to my double stitch and put in red thread. And again, just like in the sample above, I made sure that my stitches hit right in between the yellow stitches. And I think that is really cool, especially if you're into something like a railroad track quilt. That would be perfect. Here's a little sampler I did where I've used that double blanket stitch and the varying widths. Here I have just the plain blanket stitch, double blanket stitch with a real contrasting thread. And here I have done it with the green thread and then the purple thread at half speed. And I realize this is a little hard to see, so let's go to the machine real quick and I'll show you actually doing this. Okay, we're back at the machine and I have my applique square lined up with my foot. I have the right corner of the square in the right corner of the foot, and I've moved my blanket stitch over to the far right side of my machine. If I wanted to start on this side, I would simply move the needle over to the left and use the mirror image feature so that I could sew on that side. So we're going to start here, and I have the machine set up at a length of 4 and a width of 4. And this is the double blanket stitch. So I'm going right along that edge. This will actually hold the applique in place. I'm going a little slower here so that you can see this. And just like we did on the sample of Ricky's technique, we're going to watch. This is going backwards and forwards and side to side. Now I want to go backwards, or forwards, excuse me. Forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards. Come on, one more stitch. Forward. And then I can pivot. Now, if it isn't in exactly the right place, you can cheat. Pull your needle up and move it till the foot's in the right place, and then take your side stitches and then come down to the next corner. Now I'm only going to do this one corner because I think you get the idea. Go a little past this. So I would continue this all the way around, and then when I am done, I'm going to switch colors. This is actually kind of a peachy color, and you could put whatever color you wanted in there. I have a red sitting right here, so why don't I do that? Pull this one out. And I'm putting in a red. For all of these samples on Name That Stitch, I have been using Superior 40 weight polyester threads. And I've been using a mix. Some of them have been Living Colors, some have been highlights, some have been Ricky's Art Studio colors, and I also love their latest line, which is Magnifico. And it truly is magnificent. And I'm practicing that because I'm going to Spain soon. Now, I want this, I'm going to take my flywheel, I want to start this kind of midway. I'm going to leave my stitch length the same, but I'm going to widen this. This was at 4. I'm going to go all the way to 9. And I really want to stitch just on the right side of that stitching. You could stitch on top of it, but it gets kind of thick. So I'm going to go right along the edge here. And I'm going to stitch this one. Let's see how this does. Pretty good. You could stitch these in any order, but I like to start with the lighter one and then go with the darker one on the outside. And why? Just a personal preference. It really doesn't matter. So I'm going to go on with this. And just like I did before on the corner, I'm going to watch. Two, three, and then I want to switch. I lost count. No, I've got to go one more. Sorry, got to go forward and back. And now it will go side to side, as you saw. Now, if you make a mistake, you can always go back to the beginning of your stitch. Some of you will have a pattern begin button. If you don't have that, if you just touch the pattern, the icon on the screen again, it will go back to the beginning, and then you'll be in the right place. So you can pretty much get out of any jam you get into here, and it's just decorative. I'm going to stop at the end of this. I love that look. I think it almost gives it a 3D effect. That's all for today, and I'll be back next time on Name That Stitch.